Got Phil Soto-Ortiz, Bryan Stabbe alongside, and Bryan, this is a rivalry that frankly should happen. These two schools are separated by only 24 miles. They are the nearest rival for one another. There is no reason for these two schools not to play. I am so glad that they have decided to get a contract together and play for these next 4 years.
Absolutely, really looking forward to it, and I don't know about you, but I am so fired up getting ready for F&M football once again. It was a long off season. They ended last season on such a high note, winning their bowl game over Delaware Valley, a team that shares as conference rivals with Lebanon Valley, and I think the fact that these two schools haven't played each other in over 20 years is a real shame, but today is a good way to try to start rectifying that, get it going in the right direction, and I think it's going to be a very competitive matchup, and we have a lot of really good things to look forward to. Ryan Velasco is one of these guys who we've seen progress year after year, and that awareness there on that fourth down play to recognize the direction that the play was going, step up, make a stop in the backfield, and not get shaken by what was clearly movement along the offensive line before the snap. Just go with it. He went in, broke it up in the backfield.
Yeah, it looks like they'll send the punt team onto the field.
And you know what? It's great to see Lamont Jackson back out there making those lateral cuts. He lost the second half of last season due to a knee injury, and I know he battled very hard to try and come back and get healthy, and he looks like he is right there. It's going to take a couple of games, a little while to get back and comfortable, and it was not unreasonable to think that maybe he'll be a little bit shaky, but he didn't show any signs of it on that drive.
Nice play by Reardon.
Absolutely, and it looks like these plays are a little bit slow developing in the backfield. That's the third or fourth time they've run a counter, the running back taking a jab step going one way, coming back the other way, and F&M's defensive front seven is recognizing that extremely well and getting right to the ball carrier in the backfield.
2nd and 5. Murphy under center. He'll bootleg left. Naked bootleg. Throwing end zone all alone is George for the touchdown. 20-yard touchdown pass from Brian Murphy to Tyler George. Defense nowhere near number 9 of LVC. And the Dutchmen jump on top 6-0.
And that was just a case. It had to be a misassignment along the secondary. It actually looked like F&M was going to have a sack there, as it was, I believe, John Najee one-on-one in the backfield. Great awareness, though, to get his eyes up by Brian Murphy to recognize he had a guy open in the corner of the end zone, and there was no doubt about it.
But F&M cannot lean entirely on one back. It's really good to see both him and Jackson in the same backfield.
And last year, after Jackson went down, Frank Stromolo went down for a while. LaValva had to be the guy to really carry the load, and it was a lot to ask of him, but I think that experience is going to benefit him here this year as all the backs are healthy.
Irving was grabbed at the line of scrimmage, but he just marched right on through that. He's a strong running back. You could see the way he is built. He is a load.
Yeah, and he's a guy where even though he's big and bulky, he can make you miss in a hole. In a one-on-one situation, he's got that quickness and versatility where he can either bowl you over or he can make you miss, and he's a dangerous guy. F&M knows about him. They're ready for him, but they just got to execute.
Throw by McGarity, another good, safe route. Andrew DiStefano, the sophomore, coming back for the ball to be 1st and 10, F&M.
And what happens on the defensive side there when you have two backs in the backfield flanking the quarterback on either side is you got to know your assignments. You got to know that there are a lot of guys you can go out there and catch a pass, and it's also going to mean a lot of one-on-one matchups on the outside, and DiStefano there able to do a good job of exploiting that, getting a little bit of separation and getting some good yards for that first down.
2nd and goal, LaValva, the lone man in the backfield. The give is to Scott, right up the middle, and he is in for the touchdown. Scott LaValva bursts up the middle for 5 yards, and F&M is within a point. It's 7-6.
And he was barreled head over toe, just got tripped up, but he kept his body moving forward, right up the gut. That's a statement touchdown right there. That's saying, look, we're going to go right at your interior line. We believe that our offensive linemen are going to be able to create a lane for him. LaValva is going to put his head down and get going, and that's exactly what he did right there. F&M 1 point away from tying this one up.
2-yard loss for LVC. It'll bring up 3rd and 12.
And we're going to see A.J. Koikoi check into the game on the defensive line. We were told that he was a little bit limited by some injury stuff, but he suited up today. We saw him walking around trying to stretch out a lower body, but now we see him coming in. He's making a change from a 3-4 outside linebacker to a 4-3 defensive tackle this year. And talking to him in the preseason, he says he really likes that change. He put on a little bit of weight, but he has a lot of flexibility in terms of what he's able to do along that line. So he's definitely a player to keep an eye on down there today.
And that's it. Short gain of about 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 7.
went right to the boundary there on that pass. The receiver had to try and cut back in, and looked as though the defensive back on that side also once again got slipped up, which allowed him to get an extra yard or two right at the end of that play as he cut it back towards the middle.
And here comes Smolik to try and tie it up with the extra point.
It's a very hard fake there. Just about everybody went off to the left. Quarterback kept the football to his right, and that allowed George just to slip back along the end line of the end zone, and they are 1 point away from evening this thing up. You like to see the confidence the coaches have in McGarity to allow him to have those zone read options. That a lot of times with an inexperienced quarterback, you say, all right, these are the plays you're going to do it, but to give him that decision-making option there shows that they really have faith in what he's able to do. Two teams through 3 quarters pretty evenly matched, 243 yards to 220 in favor of LVC. This has been a much more competitive game than you might have thought, sort of from an Edic perspective, from an outsider perspective. But F&M came in ready to play. They got a new quarterback, a new defensive system, but they have looked very strong through 3 quarters and a whole long weather delay that we had at halftime.
That'll bring up 3rd and about 7 for F&M.
Yeah, it looked like they faked that ball right up the middle, and you see McGarity showing his agility. Nice little shimmy shake with the shoulders to the outside as he was able to make one man miss and get past the original line of scrimmage. This is going to be a good test for McGarity in his first start right here. A 3rd and long, might be in 2-down territory.
And that brings up 1st and 10 for F&M, and Jordan Zachary was wide open in the middle of the field.
He was wide open, but you love to see McGarity stand up tall in the pocket, identify that Zachary had the separation there, and just deliver a strike to pick up the first down, move the chains, and keep the drive alive.
Second charged timeout of the half. Would the game clock operator kindly reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 31 seconds?
That was very polite.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say. I'm sure his mother is very proud of his manners.
He said kindly.
He did.
I have never heard the word
either.
kindly from an official on a competitive football field. I like it. McGarity. It's QB draw. To the 3, to the 2, to the 1. He dives, and he is in for the touchdown. Matt McGarity with the go-ahead touchdown with 2:26 to go in the quarter. F&M leads it again. It's 27-21 on the 5-yard touchdown run by Matt McGarity. Great call by the F&M coaching staff.
Gutsy play call, design run all the way. They spread out the wide receivers, 2 on either side. He had 1 back in the backfield, dropped back, looked like he was going to throw, and opted to go right up the middle. McGarity bounced right towards the goal line. The official on the near side goal line said it immediately. He had the call, immediately saw the football, broke the plane, and the Diplomats with 2:26 left to go up 27-21.
The Diplomats knock off the Dutchmen 28-21.
And F&M had the perfect defense to stop that one there. There were 3 receivers going out into the formation, but he opted to throw to the guy who was double covered over the middle. It was not a great throw. It was back behind the 2 defenders. I don't even know if they saw that ball coming, but they had it perfectly defensed. And man, 2 years in a row, they're coming down just to the last play of the game. Last year, it was that 2-point conversion. This one, F&M had to get it done on defense, but what a phenomenal way to start off this 2014 season.
But they should be able to go into those games, Brian, with some confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And for F&M, they got a 2-game winning streak against teams from the MAC conference, and now a 2-game winning streak against Lebanon Valley that stretches over 32 years.
Yeah.
It was a full team effort here today. Everybody contributed, did their part. The defense stood up strong at the end when it counted. The offense looked very good, very methodical, moving the ball down the field, and there's a lot to be excited about as they head into the Centennial Conference schedule next week on the road against a very tough team in Muhlenberg.